All right, on today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to take a look at a new pedal, and the Beard is going to tell you what it is.
Yeah, so today we have the Joyo Vision. And this is from the Revolution series. It is a modulation pedal. It's not only a modulation pedal, it is a dual modulation pedal. So this pedal has two banks on it. And I think we just get right into it, right?
Right.
All right, so settings, let's talk about it. We have two banks. We have a bank A and we have a bank B. In bank A, you have, eight different modulation settings? And Pat's going to tell you what they are because we didn't memorize them. And they're too small to read off the pedal.
And we're doing this, so it's less embarrassing. You have the optical tremolo. You have a small chorus, a low bit, an auto wah, an analog flanger, a phaser, an octave, a stutter, and a vibrato.
All right, and then on bank B, side B,
you have a mod phaser, a chorus, a step phaser, a flanger, a ring mod, rotary, tremolo, liquid phaser, and triple chorus, or tri-chorus.
So to me, and I don't know that this is 100% accurate, but it's kind of like your more classic effects are over on side A. Side B gets a little more experimental. That's kind of the way it feels to me. Now, it's
I feel like they might have put one offbeat one in each, just if you're going to run to the part we're going to talk about how they run into each other. Sorry.
Because you do have the octave over here on side A.
Right.
And then have some chorus or phasers over there on side B. So basically you have four knobs. You have on both sides, well, on side B it says speed and it says rate over here, which I'm not sure.
Right.
It's the same thing. A control knob that varies, we've found varies on what it does depending on the effect that you have chosen.
Right.
And then a depth or a mix knob. Right. So most modulation pedals are going to have some way to control how fast they modulate and how much of that modulation hits your signal. So that's side A and B. Then what's really cool about this pedal is we can hit side A on, and what you can't see is it lights up blue around the end. We have to mention that because it's Pat's favorite part. But we hit side A, we have side A on, we can turn side A off, we can hit side B and have side B on, but you also have the ability to run both at the same time. And then, so you need to think about this for a second because there's a little switch up here. It says A or B to A, and then it says A and B. And so what this does, if you have it in the up position, B, your signal gets modulated in B. That modulated signal goes into A and gets modulated again. If you flip the switch down, your signal splits, modulation gets added to both, and then it's brought back together. And that does make a difference, and we'll show you that probably here in a minute. Or maybe now is a good time to show them that.
Okay.
All right, so what we've done is we've set up two sounds. Inside A, there is well, first of all, clean tone of the guitar.
Yes, the reference tone. The
reference tone.
2003 Les Paul Classic, Sir Thornbuckers through a PV Classic 30.
So inside, and Pat and I were just having a discussion about this, because you would feel like your signal comes into side A, goes to side B. So it should be side A that's affecting side B when it's in series. But the switch says B with an arrow into A, so we're not 100% sure.
Right.
We're just throwing that out there. All right, so if I click on side A, we've put in an optical tremolo in here, and we have it set pretty fast with a pretty high depth. And then inside B, we have on the Rotary speaker simulator with a real slow rotary sound with a lot of depth again. So what we're going to do is click both on, right, and we'll start with it in parallel. So the signal is going in to the pedal, being split, tremolo on one, rotary on the other, brought back together. And then after he plays that pass once or twice, I'll flip the switch up to series, and now we'll be putting the rotary on and then the tremolo on top of that, and I think you'll hear the difference. And we purposely set these up with like a lot of depth and two really distinct different speeds to make it so you can hear it.
And not just because we've done a series about one and we're working on another.
Right.
Not just that reason.
I didn't even think about that.
See, the purity of our channel. Made it much more pronounced.
Yeah,
doing it that way.
You really heard the difference with one going into the other. So, another kind of feature of this pedal, so we went through what? We talked about the different effects with the different knobs, series and parallel. The other thing that is really nice about this is you have tap tempo on both sides, and to do that you just press and hold, and we'll demo that. So we'll have Pat start playing, you press and hold the button, tap turns on, and then you can click your tap in. So I'll have him start playing, then I'll just show you how that works. And then to turn the tap off, you just press and hold again. The light goes solid, and now you can disengage that effect. Only other feature on the Tremolo pedal is you have stereo in, stereo outs, right. And so you can run it in stereo. And so some of the clips that we're about to show you were done in stereo, and some of them weren't. We can point that out too as we go. There's no way we can go through all different 8 on both sides or the combination thereof. So we just kind of sat down the other night. We're kind of playing around with it full and picked some out. So we'll share some of the sounds. We'll share some of the sounds that we kind of picked out with you. So I'll go first since I'm talking like normal. Because I do that a lot. It's a bad habit. The first sound I picked on this was a phaser. So you're going to hear a stereo phaser out of bank B, run into the PV Classic 30 and a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe. And it sounds like this.
So for me, I did a couple sound samples as well, and one of the ones I picked was the small chorus, and I believe we did it in stereo, and it sounds like this.
So you'll notice a trend here. Pat's were in A, mine were in B. So the next one I did was actually the ring modulator, and it's almost like a little bluesy riff kind of thing with a ring modulator on it, which makes absolutely zero sense, but it was just kind of fun to play with, and so that sounds like this in mono.
So coming off of that, I guess I'll go for my more experimental one that I did. I picked the octave one, but I blended the octave right in the middle. So it wasn't just all the low, all the high, and played it. And I believe it was in stereo, as I pointed the amps over there, and it sounds like this.
And then for my third sound clip, I really, how could I not? I picked the rotary sound. So you're going to hear it kind of with a fast rotary, and then you'll hear it with a, I'll reach up and turn the knob down, you'll hear it on slow, and that's in stereo, sounds a little bit like this.
And then I went for, in honor of one of my favorite effects, the series that we're working on now, I picked the Optitrem, and it was also in stereo, and this is what it sounded like.
All right, so those are the sound samples that we put together. Obviously, you can't go through everything. There's a lot of great sounds in it, though. I think the question that we've been asking ourselves since we got the pedal and been playing around with it is like kind of a who is this pedal for thing? And so if you're not into modulation or want to get into modulation or want to start to play around with it, we think this is a great pedal for you. Like, there's... I don't know that there's 16 different, but there's variations.
There's some overlap in some of the ones, but they're different types of the same thing.
Yeah, and so there's a whole lot to like kind of dive into, play with. Like if you're not sure whether I like rotary, I'm not sure I like chorus, I'm not sure if I like tremolo, this would be a great starting point, especially at the price point it's at. It gives you a whole lot of stuff to play around with. Obviously, we've talked about the Leslie Sound series that we did and the tremolo series that we have coming up. And with that in mind, like if you were looking for, like I just want a really, really good standalone rotary sound, you know, then I think you may want to dive into like a really good standalone rotary pedal.
Right.
But again, if you're not sure, like what kind of modulation you like, I'm not sure if I'd like a phaser or a chorus or a tremolo. We think this is a great starting point. Gives you a lot of features with the stereo. If you have 2 amps, it's really great to sit in your room and crank up the stereo with 2 amps and hear that. The tap tempo on it gives you a whole lot of options. And even if you like are playing and gigging out and you just need, like you're covering a lot of tunes and you need a lot of different types of modulation on a budget, this would be a way to do that.
Right. And I was thinking as you were talking about the home recorder too, maybe... And not just a bedroom player, but a guy that likes to record. And you could do all kinds of funky stuff with the ring mod and the lo-fi or more of the traditional sounds. Like you said, it's stereo. You can tap it to sync it with other things. It's really a versatile pedal at a really nice price point for what it is, for sure.
Right.
And it lights up blue.
Sub $100?
Yeah, I believe it was, yeah.
Sub $100. Cool blue lights.
Yes.
Lots of sounds. Definitely check out the Joyo Vision. So with that, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate if you subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Check us out on Facebook. We put a lot of stuff over on those, kind of telling people what's coming up with the channel. And I think with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.